Their positions are very interchangeable in the diamond, so he did that all game long. Just stood there rolling up his shorts. We just don't get that in the Premier League. Just look at the distances between our players. Right, hello everybody, welcome back to the Golden Sky. I'm Tom. Today we are going to be doing an analysis of Liverpool's 3-0 win over Marseille in the Champions League from last night. I appreciate the videos are coming thick and fast at the minute, so we're going to fly through this one. I hope you all enjoy. Let's get into the clips from the game. Right, okay everybody, these are the clips from that game, and we did in fact return to a diamond in this game, which is going to be the focus of this video really. The diamond and also our shape off the ball. I think they're the two key takeaways from this game. So the diamond we've used sporadically so far this season. We used it against Inter Milan and against Brighton, and they were two of our better performances of the whole season, so it's been frustrating for Liverpool fans why we haven't used it more. We returned to it today, but it was a little bit different than how we deployed it in previous times we've seen it. It was at times more of a 4-2-2-2 rather than a 4 and then your diamond and then your front two. It was more of a, you have two players sitting in front of the defence and then two players sitting ahead of them, almost like a box of 4. But I'll just draw the diamond on the screen here. It's not always going to be a perfect diamond shape, but you get the general gist here. It's these 4 players: Florian Wirtz, Dominik Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alexis Mac Allister. Now, these 3 players, aside from Mac Allister, I'm talking Wirtz, Szoboszlai, and Gravenberch in this situation, their positions are very interchangeable in the diamond. And it was usually, most of the time, Wirtz and Szoboszlai the most advanced, and then Gravenberch and Mac Allister the deepest. But what we found in this game was pretty much always, when we had the ball especially, Mac Allister was actually the anchor of that diamond, the deepest one. Now, usually we'd see Gravenberch here. Interesting that we didn't do this, and I actually think it's a good move, because I think Gravenberch's skill set is much more where he can carry the ball than being someone who's going to progress the ball with passing. So getting him a little bit further forward where he doesn't have to be the first player to build up, I think helps us and helps him. Mac Allister's much better in the short spaces with short passing, and that's something the diamond allows you to do, is get players really close to one another and play lots of short passes, which is exactly what you're going to see in this first clip once I finish this explanation of what you're going to see in today's video. Now, Wirtz and Szoboszlai would often change as the point of the diamond at the other end of it, the more attacking end. Wirtz in this situation is on the left-hand side, Szoboszlai sort of the furthest man forward. That was just interchangeable completely as the game went on, as those two saw fit, and I think it worked well again. But what the diamond also allows us to do, like you'll see here, is get our fullbacks really high up the pitch. So Frimpong is going to provide the width on that right-hand side, a role he is tailor-made for, as you'll see later in this video. And Kirkers as well can do the same thing, but he's just being a little bit, smart here in his positioning. No need for him to get really, really high up the pitch. He's fine where he is. We also then obviously have Ekitike and Salah as strikers. Salah a bit narrower than we might see him if he was on the wing. He'd maybe be the one out here where Frimpong is. Instead, he's able to come inside a little bit, and Ekitike mirrors that on the other side of the pitch. So that's the diamond explained. I'm sure you all know how a diamond works in football, but that's how we deployed it in this game. So you can see immediately here, early in the game, it causes problems for Marseille, who were trying to defend us. I want you to focus on this player here over on the left-hand side. I think this is Hamed Traore in this game. He's already confused at who to mark. He's saying, where do I go, right? And the reason why he's confused is because he's concerned that the ball is going to get past here to Gravenberch, which it does eventually get past there. And he knows that should really be his job to go and press this. But he can't go here because he's got to deal with Frimpong, who's in a really advanced position, something the diamond allows us to do with the fullbacks. You'll see. Let me move this on. So the ball goes to Gravenberch, and Traore jumps initially towards Gravenberch, and he's ready to go press. You can see here in his body weight, he's shifting it almost backwards, thinking, I can't go there because if I run here, this channel pass is just easy peasy for Liverpool, and Frimpong is just away at that point. So he checks his run and retreats back to Frimpong, but now he's changed his body shape again. He's got his arms out again. He's asking his teammates, I need some help. You've got to help me out. And it's nothing fancy from Liverpool. It's just the positioning of the diamond. You see Mac Allister's also shifted himself further up the pitch. This is something where the diamond is really helpful. Like I said, we've struggled to build up a lot in this season. Now, we struggle to build up mostly against teams who sit all their players behind the ball, and there's going to be chances in this video which we just wouldn't get in the Premier League, and I'll point those out to you. And this is why I think personally we're having a much better run of things in the Champions League than the Premier League. But the diamond lets you have lots of short passing options, and when we're in the Prem, I feel like oftentimes we're too the distances between our players are too big. You see our wingers are really wide on the wing. We've not played the diamond much in the Premier League, so we have our wingers wide, and the distances are big. We don't have players near one another where they can interchange and provide quick link up and break through players, which we see here. Gravenberch is going to play this ball to McAllister, a nice little short pass. He can receive it, turns on a dime, gets a bit of luck, but manages to get this shot away in the box, which in another day ends up in this far corner. It just trickled wide. But you see, just look at the distances between our players. I mean, McAllister's having this shot here. He's got Salah really close to him, Szoboszlai as well, Ekatiké's in the vicinity. And then behind that, you've got these three, Frimpong, Gravenberch and Wirtz, all not far behind as well, sniffing around. If anything was to ricochet, they can all jump in here and win the ball back. This is something that we don't have when we play a variation of other formations that we've played so far this season. So we move on, and now you're going to see it in its more defensive shape, and this is how we played in this game. It was, at times, what looks on paper like a 5-2-3, like this. Now, it didn't necessarily matter all the time with certain players who was where, and I'm talking mostly about these three. Florian Wirtz, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Alexis McAllister. As long as one of them was leading the press from the front and the other two were sitting behind, that was fine. That was our game plan. We'd lead the two in the middle. We know Marseille wanted to get the ball to this centre-back, Bellerdi, in the middle of the three, and essentially use him to set the tempo. This is how De Zerbi likes to play. He likes to play these passes in here, and then they shift the ball on very quickly. That's exactly what happens here. Interesting positioning from some of our players, notably Ryan Gravenberch. He's man-to-man in this situation. He is man-to-man with this lad here, the midfielder. I think it might be Kondogbia in this screenshot. Can't quite tell. The camera was on the moon in this game. But Gravenberch going right back into that back five, something that we've seen him do before when we've played the diamond. This is clearly a tactic with how we line up in a defensive position when we play this formation. McAllister also man-to-man. Wirtz, sort of man-to-man, but you can see he's telling Szoboszlai, I don't really want to be here. Get yourself back in and get with this guy. And then Salah and Ekatike would split and just stop the passes going out wide like this. And that was pretty basic stuff. So the ball comes in. You see they kind of follow their men around. Szoboszlai's not been able to get back where Wirtz was telling him, so Wirtz follows his man. McAllister follows his. Gravenberch is still on his, and everyone else is basically just marking space. So they flick the ball around the corner. Gravenberch really aggressive. He was excellent at this in this game. Gets his long, rangy leg in the way, makes the tackle, breaks up the play. Really aggressive. We did this a lot when the ball came to the front man. We were aggressive. We won it. Sometimes we fouled, which is more than okay. By the way, we don't do enough of this in the league. We're too, I would say, kind in the league. We win this ball back, and we launch a counter-attack. And this is where having Mo Salah back is very helpful. We've struggled with our ruthlessness on counter-attacks this year compared to where we used to be. In this game alone, we messed some up as well. But Salah definitely is a man that you want leading a counter-attack. He tends to know the right time to release the ball. I'm much more confident in him having it than the likes of Gakpo or even Szoboszlai, to be honest, who isn't the greatest at this type of thing. Salah knows the right time to release this ball. He draws the men in. He fires it onto Szoboszlai into the space, perfectly into his path. And he delivers an excellent cross, really good cross in. And Ekatike is a little bit unlucky here. He's going to find himself flagged offside. But you see, there's no way he gets to this ball unless he runs around this defender. Now, it's difficult for him to run around this defender and stay behind the ball. He has to make this movement, otherwise he'll never get it. If he just ran with him, the defender probably cuts it out. So he's a little bit unlucky. I'd love to see it from Ekatike, though. I know he's offside by, a paper-thin margin, but the positions he's getting himself in, the attacking instincts are excellent. This is something that you just want to see from your striker, and he finishes it off well with his left foot. Unfortunately, it was the only good finish he produced all night. Now, then they busted out this one, and there's nothing tactical about this at all. I just left this in to let you know that this is going to be me when I walk into the office and I see any other Liverpool fan whatsoever. I'm just going to be there with doing this one. Am I even looking at the camera? I don't even know. That's going to be me when I walk in to work and I see any other Liverpool fan on the streets, in work, anywhere. Right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Here we go again with another counter-attack. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. The chance that we just had and this chance that you're about to see, we just don't get this opportunity in the Premier League. And this is partly why I think we're having so much more success in the Champions League. Unless we play a team like Arsenal, who, even Arsenal to their own extent don't play quite like this, where they leave themselves this exposed. But a team with that attacking intent, Man City, I don't know, who else, maybe. There's a lot of teams who defend now in the Prem. Maybe Chelsea, someone like that. Villa, a team who like to attack and want to, throw bodies forward. We don't see that a lot in the Premier League, so we don't see chances like this. Well, we've got, 5 players breaking and Marseille only had 3 back in position. Now, when we have a counter-attack, for me, the lads have always, their first thought has got to be, where is the flying Dutchman, Jeremy Frimpong? Because he's so fast. He just flies everywhere he goes. I'll say it on every video. He's astoundingly quick. It's his acceleration to go from a standing start to a full-on sprint. It happens in the blink of an eye, and he does it again here. So Szoboszlai should be looking up to find him. He doesn't, though. He goes to Wirtz. The move slows down just a little bit, but Wirtz knows Frimpong. We've seen this a lot already since Frimpong's been back from injury. Wirtz likes to just knock the ball in the space. He knows him. He's played with him for years. He does that here. Looks straight up for him. Finds Frimpong, and we get this position where we've got a really good chance to get a cross in. Now, bodies forward again. You see Kirkes and Frimpong joining the attack. That's something the Diamond allows you to do without exposing yourself all too much. You see there's no Gravenberch, there's no McAllister here. So we're fine. We can throw these bodies forward. We've got men in the box. Things are looking good. The balance is good. Now, I want you to look at Salah's movement here. He's just watching this defender, watches him all the way, runs close towards him, and then makes a quick burst away towards this near post. Frimpong recognises it. Good delivery. And Salah almost flicks it in with his hip. Now, I'm not going to analyse the free kick. It's a great free kick from Szoboszlai. We all know that. But I am going to move us on into the second half, where the game got a little bit more of us counter-attacking. A bit slower, maybe, but some really nice passages of play. So again, we're going to see the shape of the team here. McAllister is the deepest man in the middle. And I'm going to draw, Diamond, I've sort of cheated a little bit there. It's more of a box. And this is what I mean, where it was more of a 4-2-2-2, where you've got the 2 here and then the 2 here sort of linked up. But I suppose it is a diamond. It's a similar shape to the one we saw in the very first clip, where Gravenberch is to the right, Wirtz to the left, and Szoboszlai the most advanced, McAllister the deepest. And we build up again. Kirkes really advanced, Frimpong the same on the other wing, split strikers as we see. So the ball goes to Van Dijk, it comes back to McAllister, and now, interesting thing, Gravenberch has now moved forward to be the furthest man forward in the diamond, if you like. It's very flat, more of an inverted triangle, but this is sort of the shape now. With those guys, we have the 4 up front, occupying the 4 defenders for Marseille, keeping them occupied, and we've outnumbered them here at the back. They can't really press 3 with 2. You should never lose that battle. What Liverpool are doing here, what the idea is with pushing Gravenberch further forward, is we're looking to try and pass the ball forwards between the lines. And if we have more options to do that, 1 being Wirtz, 2 being Gravenberch, and 3 being Szoboszlai, we've got more chances of doing it. More angles for these 3 centre-back, well, I say McAllister, not centre-back, but these 3 players to hit with their forward passing. Now, McAllister hasn't got an option here. He can't really find Gravenberch. He certainly can't find Wirtz. So he just moves the ball over to Gomez, who I thought had a good game. And then you see the Marseille midfield, they just can't match everybody in here. They don't close up this passing lane enough. If Gomez even wants to, he could maybe even reverse this one into Gravenberch, but he doesn't. He fires it into Szoboszlai. Really good pass. Gets it in between this gap in the Marseille midfield. And it's penetrative. Szoboszlai takes the ball on the back foot, a very, very key skill if you're going to receive the ball in between the lines. In one fluid motion, you can go and turn and run at the goal. He does that, and Ekitike makes a great run. And it's not just Ekitike, it's also Salah. Now, obviously, Ekitike is the killer pass here, and Szoboszlai finds him. But again, I want to look at the small passing options Liverpool have. And what I mean by that is there's players around the ball, not big distances, that we can hit. Just imagine if this was Isak and this is Ekatike. I'm thinking in the future here. This is a formation for me that they could really thrive in together. Szoboszlai could definitely play this one down here to Salah, and Salah could come onto it and open up his body maybe. But the options are there. We're causing genuine trouble for the opposition. Again, we don't get this type of opportunity in the Premier League because when we get to I mean, let's even say here, the Premier League teams are not lining up in a mid 4-4-2. This is just not what we're seeing unless we play an elite team. We're seeing 5 more likely here, then 4 here, and then you've got 1 here. So there's no real equivalent to this in the league. Anyway, Ekatike gets the ball. He's unlucky here. He tries to bend this one in. It doesn't quite get enough curl on it, and it hits the post. But we move on. Now, very blurry screenshot here. Things are moving very fast, but Kerkez has just played this ball from left back, where he's travelled with it, into Ekatike's feet. He does a great job, holds off the defender, and returns it to Kerkez. Again, you see McAllister is the deepest in the midfield, Gravenberch to the right, Wirtz to the left, Szoboszlai the point of the diamond. I'll draw it on again. Excuse me, I'll draw it on again for you here, just so you can see it even clearer. There we go. Ekatike links up well in the middle, really good play, and Kerkez bursts forward. He was excellent in this game. He was my man of the match. Personally, I think he was our best player. Not just in the defensive side of the ball, where he was excellent, but also on the attacking side as well, where he does things like this. Carries the ball forward a long way, and releases at the right time to find Florian Wirtz. Now, Wirtz has filled that channel well. We've got Frimpong coming up on the right. We've got Salah as an option. Szoboszlai as an option. But yet, we still have Gravenberch and McAllister back in our rest defence. There's a nice balance. Wirtz gets the ball, cuts inside a little bit, and tries a similar finish to the one at Burnley, where he's going to revy it back into the near post. It's actually a really good save from the goalkeeper. But again, just look at the options he has. I think he's right to shoot here, to be honest. But, he could maybe drop this one into Kerkez. He can drop it back to Ekatike. Can he maybe find Szoboszlai? Could he go to the back post for Salah? Frimpong? I just really like the options this formation gives. And it's good counter-attacking from us and great play from Kerkez to start the move. Again, Liverpool in build-up. And we're just a lot better at build-up when we don't have to play a team who sit with a 5-4-1. We just are. We can see. We really need to figure that out because we can't do it when the team plays much more open and there's much bigger spaces on the pitch. I mean, look at the spaces here between the attackers and the midfielders for our men to operate in. We just don't get that in the Premier League. Van Dijk, this time it is on the ball. He's going to give this ball to Florian Wirtz. And now, again, I'm going to keep harping this point. We're going to see how the diamond gives you short passing options and how that suits our players. McAllister's biggest strength for me is the tempo of his short passes. He's not spraying balls out wide all the time, McAllister. He just uses it really well in one touch or 2 touches in the short spaces. And that's what he does here. He just jogs towards Wirtz as the anchor of the pivot. The pivot man in that midfield, anchoring the diamond. Wirtz waits for him, finds him. And all McAllister's going to do is bounce this ball back first time. But the reason for this pass is to attract attention. You see, all these Marseille players are drawn towards these 2 Liverpool players. And we just drop this ball in here and drop it straight back to force this player to, bait him on. Come on, press McAllister. He does exactly that. Drops back to Wirtz first time. And the timing of these passes is key. Wirtz, again, back to McAllister. And now McAllister's away. Now, in a really dangerous position. Lots of just very simple but short passes. And now we're in a great spot. We've got Ekatike in front of the ball. We've got Salah in front of the ball. And then we've got the 2 wide men, Szoboszlai and Frimpong, in this situation as well. But McAllister does the right thing. Ekatike just fills his lane, makes a great run. McAllister plays it to him. Very simple pass. And he tries to lash this one with his left foot at the goal. I think the goalkeeper got a touch on this, but it was given as a goal kick in the game. But again, great play from Liverpool in build-up. Not just because of the diamond, but because of how the other team line up against us. Now, this time Marseille on the ball. And I just wanted to put this in again, just to highlight the shape of when they have the ball. So again, nothing's going to come of this clip, but you're going to see Gravenberch back man-to-man with his defender. We did this the whole game. We've got the front 3 here, midfield 2 here, and then essentially a back 5. But it's man-to-man in certain parts. This is man-to-man. This is man-to-man, and this is man-to-man. This time it's Wirtz leading the press, but you remember I highlighted those 3 players in these same positions on the previous clip that were man-to-man marking. It was Wirtz instead of Szoboszlai before that. Everyone else is just marking space. Right. Now, Liverpool's second goal. It's all about Jeremy Frimpong. And I've said this about Wirtz in previous games, but I want to say it again here. When Frimpong squares this fella up, this fella is, I mean, let's put it this way. He's fucked. He's got no chance. Frimpong disperses his atoms, just atomizes himself, and disperses them on the other side of this lad before he can even blink. I mean, it's ridiculous how fast this guy is, but I thought the way he did this was really clever. We used to see him Frimpong when he's here. He likes to sort of do the move Doku does a lot, where he sort of waves his foot over the ball and then flicks it with the outside of his right foot towards his right, and he knows he's always going to get that separation from you. And if he doesn't, you've got to try really hard to get back, and he can just chop it onto his left, and likely you'll commit and you'll be out of the game over here. But in this situation, he actually sees that there's a lot of space this way. You know, rather than going over here and having to cross, you can make a more direct run into the box. And the way he does it is he just shifts his body weight so he can really, you know, push himself off his back foot, which he makes his right foot, and with his left foot carries the ball in his running motion past the left winger, who is left in an absolute heap on the floor after trying to foul Frimpong, or trying desperately to keep up with him. You can't keep up with a man who has the ability to atomize himself and wears the Infinity Stones in his headband. You can't do it. He then, you know, tries to find, I think what he's trying to do here, let me draw that line better, he's trying to find Salah, is I think the goal of this pass. But we get a bit of luck, and it goes in for 2-0. Now, nearing the end of the game, things were starting to get a little bit stretched. Got Gakpo on now up front. This time we go long. We've got Jones on now as well. So the ball goes long towards Gakpo. He ends up coming away with it. And Salah is in. I mean, Medina, I don't know what Medina's doing. He's just stopped running. Maybe he was too busy rolling up his shorts. He did that all game long. Just stood there rolling up his shorts. Fair play. But in this situation, he gets beat. Gakpo can find Salah with an easy pass. And Mo Salah never, ever usually misses this good of an opportunity. You just expect this finish, don't you? He tries to go outside the foot, and I think the idea is to curl it in that near post. But he ends up just getting it all wrong and just sort of hits it over here. Doesn't even go close in the end. There's also an argument maybe he could find Jones. I don't think that's ever realistically going to happen when Salah is one-on-one like this. I think that's one you could only really spot with hindsight in videos like this. But again, a bit of variation in our play. This one's just a long ball. Gakpo managing to use his height for a change and make something happen. And we should score again. But we do score again. And this is going to be the final clip of the video. Because it's a lovely, lovely goal. It really is. Gomez, again, really good in his passing. Really brave, punchy, progressive passes. Just what you want to see from your centre-backs. McAllister, the deepest midfielder. And again, we've got sort of a box front two, and then sort of Gravenberch and McAllister a bit deeper. There's not really a shape that you can call this. It's not a traditional kind of midfield shape. The game is just getting a bit stretched. But again, I'm going to say it, guys, you don't get this kind of opportunity in the Premier League, where teams are pushing up in a 4-4-2, in a bit of a high line in this case. It just doesn't happen. So big spaces between the lines of play. I mean, they're just way too big. This does not happen if you play a Burnley, a Brentford, a Crystal Palace, lots and lots of other teams, Fulham, you know. It doesn't happen. But in this game, it did. And we find Szoboszlai. He draws 2 defenders on him. Awareness, excellent, lovely flick. Flicks it into the space for Gravenberch, who makes that run. And this is what I was saying at the start of the video, where I think Gravenberch really does benefit from being a little bit of the further forward player rather than the lad first in build-up like McAllister here, because he can open his legs up. Imagine roles reversed. Imagine this is Gravenberch and this is McAllister. You're not as threatened if McAllister is the one carrying the ball forward at you, are you? You're just not. It's not got the same zip and pace to the game. So Gravenberch is the one doing the work here. Brings the ball forward. Releases it at the right time. Look, draws all the Marseille players narrow towards him. They've got to stop the ball eventually. Finds Cody Gakpo. Jones makes a good run to bring the fullback away. Give credit to him. Don't let that go unnoticed. And Gakpo from here, never really is going to miss. Fires it into the far corner. Good finish from Gakpo. Again, though, we've got a lad celebrating before the ball's gone in the net. Do not like that. But in this situation, it works. And we score a goal for 3-0 and capped off, to be honest, a pretty good performance overall. No complaints, really, in this one. Alright, everybody, that is going to do it for today's video. I really do hope that you did enjoy it. And if you did, please do click that like button. We are trying to get to 30 likes, as I've been saying on all the videos. So if you can help me get to that 30 like mark, that will be amazing. Hit the like button below. We're also really, really close now to 400 subscribers. So I know there's a few of you watching this who might have enjoyed it and aren't subscribed, so please do click subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's get to 400, and then we can make that push for 500 podcast listeners. Thank you for listening. If you did, 5-star rating and reviews, follow the show, all that good stuff. I want to say a big thank you to everybody who's watched the ratings for this game. They have, well, the support on that video has been amazing, so thank you very much for that. I'll be back tomorrow with a preview for the Bournemouth game, which is on Saturday. So the videos, again, like I said at the start, coming thick and fast. I hope you're enjoying them all. Let me know in the comments if you are, and I'll speak to you tomorrow for that preview. Thanks for watching, everyone. Goodbye.